Anybody in the world can mint an NFT. Because of this, there's the potential for any new project to become a scam. So how do you identify which projects are legit and which projects are not? Well, you're about to find out. All right, everybody, I'd like to welcome you to The New Normal, a podcast where every Tuesday we break down complex crypto topics so that anybody can understand. I'm your host, Austin, aka MacNCheeasy, and alongside me we have Jesse, a full-stack engineer who's worked at some of the biggest tech companies in the world, and he is now working on building out the crypto ecosystem. This is a brand new show, so it would really help us if you smash that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you share this with somebody who's trying to get into the crypto world, because sometimes it can be intimidating. Today, we're going to be talking about how there's different types of scams that exist in the NFT market and some of the potential warning signs and how you can steer clear from these projects. The NFT world is expanding rapidly, and as a result, you got to be wary of scams. And we've seen them a bunch, Jesse and I, and there's some things that new investors would really have no idea what to watch out for. So today we're going to be touching on all of these things. Now, Jesse, I know you're in the weeds a bunch, in the Discords, in the project websites, looking at the code. This is something that I think really of a lot of people in the world, you're one of the more qualified people that can speak on this. So how's it going today?
It's going good. Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about the dark underbelly of the NFT world. And this is people just trying to just extract money, cash grab, scam, just the nasty stuff. We don't like to talk about it, but we got to keep people safe. And so we got to tell some ugly stories. So
it's not all sunshines and rainbows. It's not all 15Xs.
No.
That's if it wasn't for the scams, the 15Xs wouldn't feel so nice. Or
exactly.
Maybe not. I don't know what we can look at there. But so there's a lot that goes on in the NFT world, and it's the same really as the real world. There's a ton of scams out there. We've all been approached by people and you're like, scam. We've all been, sent emails and you're like, scam. But these are things that are normal to our day-to-day lives. And the first time we heard it, we probably had our parents like, Austin, don't go over there. Don't check that email. Don't open up that email. We had to learn from somebody. So we're trying to teach you here today about these scams that exist here. So take it away. Where do we want to start here? It's such a big realm.
Yeah.
Where do we want to attack first?
Yeah. So I think first, let's just talk about projects. We hear about new NFT projects launching every day. There's a big calendar, that notification we get in the Discord that tells us 6 new projects tomorrow. Okay. How do we know they're legit? How do we know they're not just going to scam us? And so we're going to talk through some signs to look for, but also just like tell some stories of what we've experienced, because I think those are the stories of what we've experienced will help you kind of see if you feel those similar vibes. And so the first one,
as you're listening, and to Jesse's point about stories, we're savvy NFT investors, but we have been part of something. We have seen it firsthand. So I think those stories prove that really it can happen to anybody. And I'm looking forward to talking about a couple of those.
Yeah. So the first category is really like unfortunate, but it's kind of like a catfish scam. And this happened with 2 female-driven projects, which is really, really unfortunate. Like they really went for the knife on this one. We had the Fame Lady Squad, and then another project that did not end up launching, which was good because the scam got identified ahead of time, but another one called Queenship. And it was actually, Austin and I were literally about to mint Queenship. And then there was some sketchy stuff happening in the Discord, like the contract, they wouldn't release the smart contract. They were like, and then last second, they're like, oh, we're going to mint directly from OpenSea, which is so not typical. And we were just like in the Discord, we're like, we're out on Queen ship. We're out,
No wait.
out. No way. And we
No
didn't
way.
know. We didn't know at the time it was a scam, but boy, it was starting to get those vibes. And what ended up happening is some really smart, investigative, almost journalists, if you will, on Twitter, wrote up big Twitter threads debunking that, basically like figuring out that the people behind these two projects were actually 3 Russian white guys, and which is just awful and crazy. And and this really hurts the industry, right? And but what was even crazier of how, like, this guy was a really smart detective. The way he figured it out, there were many factors, but the one that really clicked for me, he saw words written in the Discord from the team, like when they were communicating, and those same words were on some of the art and in on their website. They were spelled in a certain way, as if you had used Google Translate and put in the Russian word and translated it to English. And they were spelled a little funny, and you could tell it was created from a translator.
That is crazy.
I mean, to notice that level of detail. I mean, I think the guy already had a lot of suspicions about these projects, but he had literally started noticing that the way they were talking and like certain spellings of things was like, oh, this is clearly using a translator, a Russian translator.
Yeah, he or she worked backwards and figured out that these people who were posing as a woman-driven project that was this NFT. I think it had something to do with, women empowerment, whatever it might have been. And really it was Russian. I'm going to call them Russian hackers because that's the image that I have. Russian hackers creating a project and catfishing an entire community as if they were these other people.
Yeah, and it was horrible. And so, some of the signs that we noticed were the way they were communicating was starting to sound a little fishy. They were withholding information. And so, the vibes were kind of going sideways on Queen Ship. And then, luckily we had the community that did all the due diligence and figured it out that it was just all a big scam. And I think something cool and good did come out of it. I haven't followed it closely, but Fame Lady Squad, that project was actually working on transferring all of the images and the contract itself to people in the community so that it could live on. And I just checked the floor price and it's still at 0.1 ETH. So I'm kind of assuming that it's going to live on. So that's actually kind of a neat outcome.
Interesting. That might be one that we might want to be the second guy in type of thing. That seems like an interesting project. What other type of scams are there out there?
Yeah. So there is this isn't necessarily a scam, but FUD, meaning fear, uncertainty, doubt, can actually be just as bad as a real true scam. And so FUD can really snowball and start to take place inside of these project discords, especially on minting day. So in the hours leading up to minting and then also during minting, the FUD can really snowball. And so how does it start? Often it starts by poor communication from the team, or the team flat out not being responsive. And the second part there, just not being responsive, is one of the things I've seen that is one of the worst things you can do. And so the Sad Frogs project, which was really these were really cool looking frogs. They're like the real Pepe meme kind of frogs. Like
we've seen the meme.
Yeah, they had really big upside. Yeah, they're hilarious. And so now we have 10,000 of them. And what ended up happening is I think the team was overwhelmed. There was probably only like 2 or 3 people. And so they thought it was in the best interest of the project launching successfully that they just ignore the Discord for the entire launch day.
Clearly, you have developers working on this project, not a bunch of HR people, not a bunch of publicists. People, if you're looking to start an NFT project, maybe give us a call.
Oh my God. And they did not have a single moderator. And so if you've never been, if you've ever wondered what it's like to go to hell, Go to a Discord with no moderators. It is
Oh,
literally the underbelly of the world. It is awful. I saw some of the most despicable, like racial, like charged, nasty, like like this is the awful stuff. And they just spam, and people just go in and they'll spam every single
spam it.
room. Every single room, they'll go through and they'll paste like this, like just horrific stuff.
And what's happening in these Discords? So for those of you that don't use Discord, one, I would get on that because that's effectively the new Google. Two, Discords are basically chat rooms. Imagine a big group chat, but instead of with your friends, it's with your entire community, your entire investor base. And what happens is when these go live dates happen, the Discord is where people get their news. It's basically direct to investor news. So you have like an announcements channel where you can make announcements based on the release. And what happens is when it's release day, everybody is waiting for these announcements because they have a time and they're looking for this news. And to Jesse's point, they weren't saying anything. So now people are like, what's going on here? And then if you've ever been part of a Discord that is going through some sketchy things, it is kind of like hell, but it is kind of funny because when the project isn't communicating properly or frequent enough, how quickly the community and the people in the group chat, they'll go from like, oh, this is a must buy, and then they'll just start fudding it and they'll be like, oh, it's a rug pull, sell, just because they're trying to get in. It becomes quite comical.
My favorite joke actually is when people start screaming "sold out" and and it hasn't even started selling. But actually, what was really bad and sorry, also hilarious with the sad frogs. I forgot they did actually communicate in the announcements channel every so often, and they were like, "Stay calm, stop causing FUD." And yet there's no moderators, and we're literally like in this like like it's like just stay calm, like, oh yeah, that makes me feel way better, guy.
Right, that's the exact announcement this community needed. Like, again, these lack of moderators, and I think that's an indication because at the end of the day, these are businesses. These NFTs, look at it as if it's a tech project, look at it like a business. And if you're looking at something and they can't figure out the Discord properly, can they really figure out the roadmap that they're promising? Can they really deliver on this NFT project if they can't figure out how to have a moderator in the Discord? So that alone, besides all the FUD it creates, is just from a business execution standpoint is a red flag.
Yeah, but the hilarious part is sad frogs have survived that. Then they got taken down off OpenSea because they got a cease and desist from the original Real Pepe meme creator, and they're back and they're at 0.2 ETH. So you can survive and recover, even if it does look like a complete rug pull. Like literally at the end of the day, everyone thought Sad Frogs was 100% a rug pull, and so there can be this overreaction, and these projects can recover, but it does do kind of everlasting damage. And just another story, there's another NFT that just dropped, I think last week on Friday, and called Boneheads, and they were kind of expensive. They're at 0.1 ETH to mint. And so of course minting ends and immediately the floor prices are below mint and people are getting pissed. And of course the Discord is in disarray. And what do the people who created the project do? They said, we'll see you guys on Monday. You mean you're not going to like sit there and listen to your customers who just spent hundreds of ETH on you? Bye.
We'll see you Monday. We'll see you. We'll see you
happy hour.
Yeah, we'll see you when you're working at McDonald's when we pull up in your Ferrari that you just bought me.
Oh my God. Like this, like you have to respect the customer and like sit there and take it on the head. Hey, take the L, take the punches. Like you gotta, when the times get rough, you gotta sit there and take it. And, unfortunately a lot of these creators just don't seem to get that. And, yeah, that's unfortunate. So yeah, the FUD can sometimes be worse than the actual rug pull itself.
Mm-hmm. And there's the potential for some. I know you have a technical background. You're building out the internet. Um, what are some of the other technical things that you can see? Because all of these NFTs are derived from smart contracts. So have you seen any bugs in the actual
Oh.
code?
Yeah, I mean, in order to launch an NFT project, you need to have a developer on staff to create the smart contract to actually manage selling these NFTs. And honestly, minting contracts are pretty simple in the world of NFT and in the world of Ethereum. Like they're 100 times easier to write and and create than like a DeFi protocol, which is like advanced like financial trading algorithms and things like that. These are just like you get one, we get the money, we get the money. It's kind of easy. It's just transactional. But yeah, I mean, they do happen. And yeah, we saw with the Wolf Club the other day, they had a bug where they were not checking how much ETH was sent to purchase an NFT. And so you could send $0, zero Ethereum in and buy an NFT. And so obviously this tanked the floor prices started tanking once people realized, and this caused FUD and stuff. And
How did who identified this bug? Just curious.
yeah, it was me. I figured it out. I may have tanked their project, but I don't think they were gonna make it anyways.
NGMI.
NGMI. But yeah, I mean, what they ended up doing is they ended up deploying a brand new contract, and all the people who bought on the old one kind of got screwed. And so anyone who's second guy bought on secondary market just got kind of screwed actually. And so you just got to be really careful with not only bugs and like the competency of the team. And like we kind of identified this issue by looking at the contract. Like you just like tell that the minting function had some weird stuff, like just didn't look like the other ones. And so just a little red flag like that. And yeah, and then the team, is kind of screwing people over because of this. And so
this is an existing issue, and this is a little bit more technical, but we touched on like their Discord community. Anybody can. It doesn't take a genius to go into a Discord and be like, "This isn't ran properly." They're not communicating properly. That's something anybody in this world can do. If you ever sent a text to anybody, which I know every single person has done, if you've ever literally communicated with any human being ever, you're able to identify good communication and bad communication. And that's what you can do here. So it's not like you have to, I can't identify code like Jesse can. I can't do that. But you know what I can do? I can go into a Discord and see that they are not doing a good job at all. And I can see that the community is in shambles. That doesn't take a rocket scientist. So we touched on some of the things from like a project standpoint. Now there are some secondary markets out there. One of them being OpenSea, which is one of the biggest secondary markets for Ethereum specifically. Think of this as like just a market.
eBay.
There's eBay for NFTs, let's call it. What are some of the things that you could potentially see on this OpenSea, aka the eBay of NFTs?
Yeah, much like eBay, there are a lot of scammers out there. And yeah, so the first type of scam is people will put up fake projects onto OpenSea to make it look like a very popular one. So for example, you might want to go buy a Bored Ape, or even just a project that minted today, the generated high flyer, the penguins. There was some penguin project that minted today. If you go on OpenSea, oftentimes you'll type in the name for the project, and you'll see the project come up 4-5 times in the search results. And you're like, what the hell? Like, why are there so many? Well, because people are trying to take advantage of you. What they do is they make a copy paste version of it. They put it up there and hope that you mistakenly click into the wrong one and start buying and selling the wrong one. And basically you're effectively giving your money away to these scammers. And so how do you identify what's the right one? OpenSea, once you get to enough sales on OpenSea, you can get actually verified. I think it's like 100 ETH you have to in secondary sales. You can then get a blue check mark. So always look for the blue check mark. That's the first thing you look for. Can you find, if you're going to go into buy something on the secondary market, look for the blue check mark. If you don't see
Verified seller, effectively.
Sorry, verified seller, you can trust it. Blue check mark, that's given only by OpenSea. If you can't find a blue check mark, that doesn't mean it's a scam necessarily, although likely. It could be a brand new project that just isn't verified yet. So the next best way is to get the official link to the OpenSea collection from the project's website or from like the FAQ room in their Discord. Now, don't get it from Joe Schmo who just randomly sends it into the Discord, because that could be bullshit. That could be the wrong one. Mm-hmm. You got to get it from the official project. And so making sure that's correct. And then you can do other little things like, check the supply, make sure if there's 10,000 of them, but you look at the supply on the one on OpenSea, and there's only like 100, there's other little breadcrumbs you can kind of look for to make sure it's legit.
And the most straightforward that anyone knows how to do. If you've used social media, you know what a blue check looks like. And the designers of OpenSea, which is, again, eBay of the NFT market, they know that people are looking for that blue check. We've been trained to know that blue check is good, effectively. And this is just something that you want to confirm, especially before getting in and buying a blue chip project. Just do the research, do the extra 5 minutes before just sending your money into a project. Although some of us may ape into some things, do a little bit of the extra.
There are a couple other things to watch out for on OpenSea. There's these things called bundles where someone can sell like a little group of NFTs. You can buy like 5 for like a cheaper price. Never buy these. Oftentimes when you're buying a bundle of say 5, you think there are 5 NFTs in there. You're getting 4 fakes and 1 real. And so
really,
yeah, it's really nasty. And honestly, I feel like OpenSea should just get rid of this feature, because I just think it's just it's very, you see like the first one in the bundle and you think it's legit, until you actually click in and look at them all. That's when you can realize that it's a scam. I don't know how it works, because like I guess you can bundle things across collections, and I think that's part of the problem.
Right. If you could, okay, so that could be on the verified sales list.
I guess, I don't know, but I've never personally tried to, because I just stay away from them. But yeah, overall, it's just kind of known that bundles are scams, and just don't touch them. They're bad ideas generally. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, when you have something, when you own something, anyone can make you an offer on OpenSea, which is actually really cool. So like, people can look in your wallet or just see that you have stuff, and they can make you an offer. Well, this is a good opportunity to try and scam somebody. So oftentimes what you'll see, this isn't a scam. Sometimes people just lowball you and hope you'll just click accept accidentally. That's not really a scam, right? That they're just trying to take advantage of someone who's not paying attention. The more scammy approach of the offers is, what people will do is they'll offer you, let's say 0.2 ETH, but actually it's 0.2 of some other coin, and you're not paying attention. And so they're offering you 0.2 DAI, right? And that's only like 20 cents instead of 0.2 Ethereum, where that's more like $1,000. And so if you're not careful and you're not paying attention, you're just like, oh shit, 0.2. Like, I bought this thing for nothing.
This happens. This is a little story time. This doesn't necessarily have to. It effectively has to do with a digital piece of art just before NFTs. So back RuneScape, I was a big RuneScape player, which for those of you that don't know is basically like a poor man's World of Warcraft, like an RPG online. You didn't have to buy anything, and there was a whole marketplace for it. And it was just like OpenSea. You would buy and sell things. So what I was doing was I was trading a rune chest plate, which is valued at in the market about 100K gold coins. So me and this guy were trading, and this is where I learned true economics, which is literally the first time I started learning about economics. So I had this rune plate, and we're doing a trade. he puts it, and you both have to accept it. So he puts in 100K coins. I put in the rune plate. He um, he then takes out 100K, puts in 10K, hits accept. I wasn't looking. I wasn't paying attention. I hit accept. Then all of a sudden, I see that I got bamboozled out of 90K gold coins. And however old Austin was, I started crying. And that is how I got scammed. And I obviously still remember this story pretty in depth. And I got hurt from it. And the moral of the story is that these online marketplaces, you are susceptible to these scams, and anybody can, it can happen to anyone. And if you let your guard down for a second, you're just looking through your emails, you're doing something, just be careful. Just be careful.
Don't be multitasking when you're accepting these offers, because that's how you're going to get screwed. You're answering, you're texting, you're watching and looking at Instagram, and you see a number and you, oh yeah, let me click that. You just lost like 90% of the earnings you could have made. So just be really careful. Look through the offer, double check it, dot your I's, cross your T's. You'll be safe.
Oh yeah. And one thing that's beautiful about OpenSea and really everything is that anybody can use it. And it's free to trade, it's free to exchange things, and you can see the entire history of a specific product. So you can see the volume of Ethereum traded, you could see what a actual piece of art or what an actual project has been selling for. But this opens the door for some whale manipulation of the actual projects. Do you want to touch on what we can see, or as an investor, why you have to be wary of whale manipulation in the NFT industry?
Yeah. Anytime there's money to be made, there are people with big amounts of money who want to manipulate those markets to make themselves even more money. And we usually refer to these as pump and dumps. And so, of course, we're going to see this in NFTs. Some whales are pumping the price up. They'll make big purchases to make it look like there's like high volume and people are excited and blah blah blah. And then as all the buyers come rushing in, I need one too.
Hype.
Hype. Then the whales will sell right into that kind of FOMO euphoria action. And you gotta be careful of that. Now those things are hard to kind of identify, but you generally hear about them, right? People talk about it. And then another more very, very deceitful thing for pumping up a project is called wash trading. And this is kind of nasty. This is where, in order to make a project look really hyped up, let's say you are the owner of a pudgy penguin, and you want to make pudgy penguins really popular. You can then sell said pudgy penguin to yourself, but you just have a separate wallet. You make two wallets. They're anonymous. No harm, no foul. You sell pudgy penguin number 2 or to wallet number 2 for 100 ETH. Okay, that 100 ETH is yours. Yeah, you're going to lose a little bit of a fee to OpenSea on it, but that fee will pay yourself back tenfold if you have 100 other pudgy penguins.
Oh yeah.
And this is called a wash trade, because you're basically faking faking a large sale to yourself so that you can grow hype and that people will see it on all the bots, and everyone's going to start sharing. Holy shit, there was 100 ETH sale for pudgy penguins. And this is how we get artificial hype. And honestly, I'm pretty sure this has happened in pudgy penguins, and I'm positive it's happened in CryptoPunks too. I think someone screenshotted themselves doing it accidentally.
Of them wash trading?
Yeah, they were trying to show, hey, you just beat my largest purchase of CryptoPunks, and little did they forget that when you're looking at OpenSea's UI on your own screen, instead of it saying the username, it says you.
Yeah.
And they self-expose themselves as the one who did the trade, instead of it showing as this second wallet that's not them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
and it can happen. And And frankly, it can be an extremely effective technique.
Yeah.
It can be extremely, extremely effective. And this is something that you got to be wary of. And this is a little bit more in depth. But if all of a sudden something starts really just picking up steam and you can't figure out why, the Discord's not that active. There's not a lot of hype around it, at least from like organic hype. This is a touch harder to identify, but it exists out there, and I think it's a potential scam vector, let's call it,
Yeah.
that you have to be aware of.
Yeah, and you can make money being a part of it too. It's not like you shouldn't, but you just have to be wary that things that are built off hype like that kind of manipulative hype, those types of manipulative people are looking to eventually dump to gain profits. They're not necessarily trying to hold long term. It's a trade for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that you just got to be careful being the person who's holding the bag on those type of things.
Yep. And so another scam that just comes to mind as we're just thinking about the real world and what other people have seen. People have gotten emails from a prince who needs their money. They've gotten these phishing emails, is what they're called, where they're trying to get you to send them money. Is there a similar concept in the NFT world?
Yeah, so this isn't specific to any NFT project, but you're gonna get these if you're in these Discord chats and doing and even in the incubator. Sometimes we're susceptible to this. There are scammers all the time DMing people, all kinds of nonsense, and often it's like, you know, you've won a free Bitcoin,
Put
or
on the scammer voice, but you're about to put on the scammer voice.
You've just won $1 million. And you're like, bull fucking shit, I did. But if the scammer is more realistic with their scam and they say, oh, like you just want a free NFT, or there's other ways to do it. And there's a link in that Discord or that DM. You don't want to click that link. That link can do bad things. Once you click that link, you don't know what's going to happen. And especially if you click that link accidentally, you do not want to connect your wallet to that, your MetaMask wallet to that link ever. And even further, you never want to put in your recovery phrase for your MetaMask ever on the internet. I see all the time on Twitter, actually, people will be like, oh, I'm having problems with my ledger. And then like 10 replies will come in. Fill out this form and we'll help you. and it's a Google form. And lo and behold, at the bottom of the Google form, it says, please provide your recovery phrase. We'll need this to extra help you. It's like, well, that's how your money's going to disappear.
And, Jesse putting on the scammer voice is amazing. And I think listeners might be like, oh, I would never click that. But that could be the base layer scam, but then it could be as complicated as MacNCheeasy messaging you, and you have a relationship with him, and they've done research on your relationship, and this social engineering is what it's called. It can go as far as you can imagine. I could get a message from Jesse tomorrow asking us, when are we filming the next New Normal podcast? And these things happen, and you see it on Twitter where some of the most crypto native users and people who've been in the world since the beginning get scammed. And I say that just as a point of caution, because these things can happen to people. You hear these cautionary tales, and they can happen to anybody. And it's important that you're aware of these things, and you have an eye on it, because not knowing how you can get scammed can leave you more susceptible to getting scammed. And just being aware of the different scam vectors is what we're going to coin on the new normal. Then you're in more danger to lose a significant amount of money.
Yeah, and I do want to. You made a great point about the social engineering of these scams, and especially in Discord DMs. If someone is DMing you and the nature of the conversation is shifting to, hey, like I need some help with buying this Ethereum, or like anywhere it's starting to shift into money, you should put up the red flags immediately. You should never be getting DMs from like even from creators, like people you trust. They should not be DMing you to ask for money. Like that will never happen. And so you should always be very skeptical if you're receiving DMs from people like that. It's just always be skeptical.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so this episode, we touched on a lot of the potential scams. And in terms of just basic knowledge and basic understanding, this is a great place to start to see how you can put up your shields against these scam artists out there and try and sift through the potential risk that this new and grower and ever expanding market has. So we break it down in ways that really anybody can understand. So I think if you know somebody who's trying to get into the NFT market and also just trying to get into crypto, I think this is a valuable place for them to start by understanding about what type of concerns they can have as they're getting into the industry. And we break it down here simple. So if you have any questions, ask the comment in the comments below and we'll get to those. And if you are enjoying this, smash that like button. We make these episodes every Tuesday. We make it so that anybody can understand it. So we'll see you next Tuesday, or we'll see you in the Incubator Discord. Either way, let's make sure to keep it moving, and we'll see you next week. Peace, peace, peace.
I'm walking around in the circle.